Hey family, happy Tuesday. Welcome back to T&T, your Tuesday tips. Take it and try it. Now listen, I have a question. What are you growing? Really, what are you growing? And no, I'm not asking about your tomatoes, your house plants, or that one plant that seems to be sitting in your family room, not naming no names, in the corner of your house that keeps forgetting to be watered. Some of us can't keep a house plant alive if we tried, but somehow we can keep a grudge alive for 10, 20 years. We can water an offense from 2019 like it happened yesterday. We can remember what somebody said, where we were sitting, what they had on, what we had on, and exactly how they said it, right? Come on, somebody. We will water worry. We'll water worry. Fertilize fear, feed that frustration, give anxiety sunlight, water, and premium soil. That miracle grow, right? And then turn around and say, Lord, why is this thing growing? And I can almost hear the Lord saying it like this, because you keep watering it, right? And that's it today. That's our TNT. What are you allowing to grow? Because whether you realize it or not, you are cultivating something. Paul says in 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 6 through 7, that I planted the seed. Apollos watered it, but God has been making it grow. Paul did the planting. Apollos did the watering, but it was God who gave the increase. There was planting, there was watering, there was progression, there was growth, and eventually, what was happening beneath the surface manifested above the ground. And that made me think, what's growing beneath the surface of your life? It made me think, what's growing beneath the surface of my own life? Because everything growing inside of us isn't necessarily something that God has planted. Some seeds came from disappointment. Some came from rejection. Some came from what somebody said about you. Some came from what happened to you. Some came from environments you stayed in too long. Some came from things you've been watching and listening to. And some seeds we've planted ourselves. Now the question becomes, what have you been watering? Because whatever you repeatedly give your time, your attention, your energy, your thoughts, and your emotions to, you're feeding it. And eventually, what you feed will grow. And sometimes it'll manifest. It'll get all out of control because you won't go out and prune and cut and clip and stop. You'll let it grow all out of the place. So tip one is check your seed. Before you celebrate what's growing, ask God, who planted this? Did God plant this desire? Did God give me this vision? Is this relationship drawing me towards Him? Is this opportunity aligned with His will? Is this thought consistent with His word? Because here's the danger. We sometimes ask God to give increase to seeds He never planted. We'll make the plan, choose the person, take the opportunity, spend the money, right? Make the move, and then afterwards, okay, Lord bless it. And God is saying, when did we discuss that? Don't just ask God to bless your decisions, your mistakes, your shortcomings, your nonsense when you didn't even include Him in the details. Invite God into the decision making so He can stop you in your tracks. So you don't be growing weeds and all that craziness in your garden. Tip two, watch what you water. This one got me right here. You see, your attention is water. Read that again in your spirit. Your attention is water, right? Every time you replay the offense, you water it. Every time you rehearse the worst case scenario, you water it. Every time you relive that mistake, you worry it, you water it. Every time you compete yourself and compare yourself to somebody else, you're watering it. Every time you tell yourself, I'll never make it, I'm never going to be good enough, you're watering it. Every time you consume something that pulls you away from God, you're watering it. And then we wonder why, right? It gets stronger is louder, and we can't seem to calm the noise or quiet the noise. Here's today's truth. Stop watering what you are asking God to remove. If you're asking Him to remove it, stop reliving it. Stop picking it back up. Stop digging it back up. Some things don't need another hour of your attention. When you give it to God, give it to Him and leave it there. They need to dry up. Stop feeding it. Stop rehearsing it. Stop revisiting it. And stop giving it access to your spirit. Why? Because it will consume you. Tip 3, pull some weeds. Anybody who has ever dealt with weeds knows something about them. You don't have to plant weeds. They just show up. And they're so darn annoying. And if you leave them alone long enough, they'll start competing with what you're actually trying to grow. I have so many weeds and grass growing all over the place in my garden, and I don't tend to them, and they take over. You can't even see the beauty anymore. And that's what God is revealing to us, that when we allow all the chaos, all the weeds to grow, that we can't even see the beauty. We can't even see. That's how bitterness works. That's how jealousy works. That's how unforgiveness works. That's how comparison works. That's how pride works. That's how our fear works. And if you don't deal with it, eventually it starts choking the healthy things God is growing. So ask God, Lord, what needs to come out of me? Not my neighbor, not my coworker, not my spouse, not my children, not Pookie and them, not my church family. It's me. Oh Lord, what needs to come out of me? Lord, what's growing in me that doesn't look like you? Tip 4, is God anywhere in the details? Now, this may be the biggest question of today's message. Is God anywhere in your details? Not just Sunday, right? Not just on Monday Fire or TNT Tips. Not just when you're in trouble, not just when you need a miracle, the details. Before the relationship, did you pray? Before the purchase, did you pray? Before the response, did you pray? Before the career move, did you pray? Before you got on the road, did you pray? Before you said yes, did you pray? Before you said no, did you pray? Before you posted it, did you pray? Before your feet touched the ground, did you pray? Before you laid your head on the pillow, did you pray? Before you picked up the fork, did you pray? Because we can't keep living God out, leaving Him out of the planting and then calling Him, y'all, when we need Him to come save us, or when we don't even like the harvest. Put God back in the details. Last point. This is our last tip. Let God handle the increase. Paul couldn't handle it. Apollo couldn't handle it. It's Christ. God handles the increase, right? Paul planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the increase. Your responsibility is just to be obedient. God's responsibility is to provide the outcome. Your responsibility is obedience. God's responsibility is to provide the outcome. I'll say it again. Your responsibility is obedience. God's responsibility is to provide the outcome. You don't have to force the door. You don't have to manipulate the opportunity. You don't even have to rush the process. You don't have to make people recognize you or have to manufacture your growth. Plant what God told you to plant. Water what God told you to water. Be faithful with what God has placed and put in your hands. And then let God handle the progression. Let Him grow it, mature it, develop it. And when the time is right, let Him manifest it. Why? Because then you get to reap the benefits. Because when God gives the increase, you don't have to wonder whether you're manufactured the outcome. You'll know that God did it and only God Himself. So what are you saying? I'm saying take it or try it. Here's your challenge this Tuesday. I want you to identify 3 things you're currently watering. It could be a relationship, a dream, your faith, your fear, your calling, your insecurities, your prayer life, your anger, your purpose, and then ask yourself, who planted this? Why am I watering it? And what fruit is it producing? And most importantly, is God anywhere in the details? If it's drawing you closer to God, then water it. If it's strengthening your faith, water it. If it's producing godly fruit, water it. But But if it's stealing your peace, if it's poisoning your spirit, if it's causing you to stay up at night, if it's feeding your flesh and pulling you away from God, put that watering can down. Stop feeding what needs to die and start feeding what God wants to grow. So go ahead and pick those negative things up, those things that don't align with God, take them out, pull them out, let them go. And that's what we need to do. So here's your TNT final word today. Family, don't forget, your attention is water. So be careful what you're watering, right? Stop feeding what God is trying to free you from. And this week, ask yourself, what am I allowing to grow? This has been your TNT Tuesday tips. You can take it and try it. Take the word, try the word, live the word, and watch what God grows in your life. That's your TNT. I'll see you next Tuesday on Unveiling the Good News. God bless.